Yeah, fast bowlers are my favourites. Yes, that's right. They're the part of cricket that I love the best. You know, the crowd behind them as they run in, the old chants for Lillee and Brett Lee, they send the ball flying, they scare the batsman, they scared the hell out of me when I was playing. And it's just the most athletic part of the game of cricket. So I really enjoyed working with them, and it's a real challenge for me to A, stop them getting injured, and B, push the boundaries of trying to get them to bowl faster for longer periods. So in fast bowling, particularly for Brett, it's a sprint up to the wicket, and we found with Brett, the faster he ran in, the quicker that he bowled. So it's a sprint at around about 27 k's an hour, which is roughly 80%, 85% of his max, to a delivery stride where he leaps in the air, lands on the ground with 15 times his body weight going through his front foot. That's over a tonne. And then a maximal contraction to explode that ball down the wicket. So every time he runs in, it's a maximal contraction when he bowls. And then he's stopping instantly, so really eccentric contractions, which puts a lot of strain on the body to slow him down quickly. And he's got to do that again and again, up to 150 times a day.
Yeah, well, the thing that we did early on, training-wise, in order for the young guys out there not to get injured, was to train smart. You know, you don't have to go and lift a million things in the gym. You know, I think gym work's important. I think it's important if you've got the right coach. And it's important to do what I did in 2002, 2003, was work really hard on my sprint work as a fast bowler. But when you put your body through so much pressure and I guess contortion, and you know, you sort of talk about hyperextension, counter-rotation as a fast bowler, you're going to get injured. That's what I try and tell all the young fast bowlers that are watching now, or that I've had the chance to coach, is that the chance that you actually might get injured, but it's how you overcome that next injury. So training smart, training, making sure that you're not overtraining, but not also undertraining. You know, you have to put your body through that hard work. You can't put yourself in cotton wool. And what I see a lot of young bowlers these days is that they're being too much looked after. They're actually not getting out there and do the physical work. They're not bowling in the next, they're not building their body up to the strength that they need in order to look after themselves when they're out in the match situation. So it's that happy medium, but it's a crazy thing being a fast bowler, but it's certainly a lot of fun, and it's the best feeling when it does come off.
Brett Lee's got 5. What a spell of bowling from Lee. He is in terrific form this summer.
5 for Brett Lee. He really has been the star of the Australian attack. Doesn't matter what type of game he plays in, he just gets wickets.
Well, to me, bowling fast, we talk about what makes a bowler bowl fast. What muscle makeup does a bowler need to bowl 150 k's? Well, as you can probably see, you don't need massive biceps or a massive chest to bowl fast. To me, it was all about having a strong lower core. I did a lot of sit-up work, I did a lot of prone holes, I did a lot of running, sprints. You've got to have a really, really good foundation. And it's also, I guess, the way your body's made up as well. Some people are born with skinny legs, some people are born with strong legs and strong glutes. And that's probably my biggest asset, to have like a strong lower body. When you think about a house being built, you always build from the ground up. Same as a fast bowler. A bowler has to be strong with his core, which will look after his lower back, and have strong legs. So there's a lot of work that bowlers can do to, in order to achieve bowling fast, but also staying on the paddock.
Yeah, he's got it. That's beautiful bowling. That is outstanding bowling. Brett Lee has done it again.
If a bowler's bowling 130 k's or a bowler's bowling 140 k's, I'd certainly rather face a guy bowling at 130 k's. It's just the way it works, and it's the same as any other batsman around the world. No one likes facing fast bowling when it's on a good length. And if you can somehow increase your speed through, doing your strength and conditioning work, tightening up on your action, doing small little things that can increase your pace, you're certainly better off, and more, I do believe, actually more of a chance of playing, for higher honours.
Oh, beautifully bowled. That's the length, Brett Lee.
Other top bowlers out there who could bowl fast, but they couldn't sustain it like Brett could. All through his career and all through each spell and every match, he was pushing the boundaries, getting up there around 150, and he had to work really hard to do that spell after spell.
What a change by Ricky Ponting to get Brett Lee into the attack. Oh, that's serious cricket to play late in the day. It shows that every facet of your concentration is right on the mark.
For me, strength and conditioning is about giving yourself every opportunity to perform under pressure. So when your muscles are tired, when you haven't done the work in the gym, when you haven't done the work behind the scenes, you will fall over at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I've seen it definitely happen to players, and I guess the work that I've done behind the scenes is the reason why I've been able to bowl fast at 5 o'clock.
He's got him. Inside edge onto the stumps. A very weary Mark Butcher, and that, I think, has just tilted the day in Australia's favour.
Lee has worked hard all day.
Longevity for any athlete at the elite level is difficult, but when you're an express pace fast bowler, it's even harder, because you're pushing those boundaries year after year. You're risking injury, you're just trying not to go over the edge, but trying to get to your peak, and it's a fine line. So for Brett, is the first bloke that's ever been able to maintain his pace well into his 30s. Even Lilly and Tomo and Holding, they all slowed down as they got a bit older. But Brett's been one of those ones that's still been able to bowl in the 150s at age 35. And it's a credit to his discipline and his intensity of training and the way he's looked after his body. So I couldn't give him more raps for how he's lasted for so long. And it doesn't happen by accident, it happens by hard work.
Yeah, I enjoyed all the hard work, all the physical training. I think that, when you first start out, it's always the first 2 weeks is always stressful on the body. You think about DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, all those types of terms and stuff you hear in the gym and from fitness trainers and that. But you've really got to embrace it, you've really got to take it on. And, you can be a bowler that does nothing, can just bowl in the nets, go out and bowl in the game, but I can guarantee you that they'll break down a lot more often than what the guys that have done the work. It's just pure science when you think about the hard work and about fueling your body, about giving yourself every opportunity. So you've got to enjoy it. It is hard work, but when you look back and think that you can play for a long, long period of time, it's the hard work doesn't even come into mind.
The main areas we're covering in this DVD are specific to cricket and specific to fast bowling and running, which are two core ingredients for a fast bowler.
Running speed and technique are essential if you want to reach your peak as a cricketer. Then we move into strength training in the gym and throw around some heavy tin to give you the foundation to get the most out of the next step, which is increasing power. Cricket is a power game, whether it's with the bat, ball, running or throwing. Increasing power is part of every fast bowler's and cricketer's training regime. Then most importantly for a fast bowler, we work on bowling speed and conditioning and introduce maximal bowling speed training. And finally, we examine ways to improve your performance and recovery by increasing your aerobic or cardiovascular condition. The exercises we're showing you are just to add into your program. They don't make up your whole program. And remember, seek expert help if you're unsure about any of these activities.
Running technique for cricketers. I get asked this question all the time. Why do you do so much work on that? Well, it's a running-based game, and particularly for fast bowlers. You've got to run in the outfield, run into bowl, extremely important. So we did a lot of work with Brett on his running technique, on drills and technique work, which helps running efficiency, ability to run faster, and reduces the risk of injury, which are three pretty important things in cricket.
Ways that I had to improve was my pace across the ground. Not talking about the way the ball comes at it, but it's about sort of physical running. Working with Jock Campbell was a lot of fun for me, but also taught me that if I could run in faster and get stronger, the chances are down the other end that the ball's going to come out a lot better and be a lot more efficient. So we did that. We did a lot of drills. We did hours and hours and hours of speed work, little shuttle work between these witches' hats and circles, which I'm sick of seeing, but it made me a better cricketer.
What we did with Brett, the training, is first I looked at his running technique. He wasn't the best runner in the team as a youngster, so we really worked hard on his speed and his technique, running technique. We trained him like a sprinter, and we got his ability to run over and over again, really efficient and really quick. And I actually clocked him at 11 seconds for 100 metres in South Africa. in 2003, and also he kept that going right through his career, and in 2010 he was actually the fastest man in cricket in our summer, according to the Booper tracker, and he reached 36 k's an hour at age 34. So he did really well right through his career with that, worked very hard on it.
Speed training is essential for building players' running speed. Now, Brett is a fast bowler, chases balls in the outfield up to 90 metres, and he also runs into bowl and runs between wickets. So the faster we do that, the better. So extremely important for cricketers. Maximum speed training for a cricketer involves maximum speed efforts. So the rest becomes very important. We need to do a maximal effort and then have good rest, up to 3 to 4 minutes rest between repetitions, so that that second repeat is just as fast as the first one. And that's training the body to be fast. It's not fitness, it's all about speed. So try 6 to 8 reps of 40 to 60 metres with 3 minutes recovery for your maximum speed work. And then we move into another drill that you should try, which is really specific for fast bowlers. It's 40-metre sprints on the 30 seconds. So it might take you 5 seconds to do the sprint. That means you've got 25 seconds rest. Try 10 to 20 reps of this, and then take 4 to 6 weeks to build up your speed work to maximum. It's a gradual process, and this will help avoid injuries. Always warm up thoroughly, and for running drills and our famous ins and outs, go to my website at jockathletic.com, where you'll see videos and explanations of what you can do at home. So if you put in all the hard work, you too will end up with a powerful and fluent technique like the great man himself. From the front on position, you can see Brett runs in a straight line with arms in nice and tight to the body and a relaxed face. You can see his back foot coming up and over the knee that's on the ground, putting his lead knee and thigh in a beautiful parallel position to the ground, which then allows him to apply maximum force to the surface. His body angle is slightly forward in a nice straight line, and his arm angle is at 90 degrees and slightly opening out at the back. And his foot hits the ground directly under his body and then transfers this magnificently to his bowling run-up. The more Brett did of this in training, the more likely his technique would stand up under pressure of bowling in competition. And this was done from great volumes of perfect practice.
Strength training is really important for fast bowlers because it lays the foundation for the power work we're going to do later on. The stronger a muscle, the more potential for power gains it's got. So it's really good pre-season work for a fast bowler. It's going to help them with their ability to run faster and be more powerful in their bowling delivery stride.
When I think about strength and conditioning and about what makes a bowler bowl fast, there's 2 ways to look at this. There's the gym way, which is pure what we call beach weights, which is not really effective to fast bowlers. Or there's the gym way, where you get in the gym and you do things that are specific to bowling fast, like moving a weight quickly, in order to make you run faster or to move your body quicker. The old way of just lifting bench weights and doing things, it's not going to make you bowl fast. But if you're doing it in a way that you're pushing the weight quickly, or you're resisted training, you're more likely to get a lot more sort of benefits out of it. So, which is the reason why you get a lot of big guys out there that have got muscle on muscle that can't bowl fast. Or you've got guys that have got a good lower core strength, they've got a bit of size on them, but they can bowl 150 k's. And I guess some stuff that we'll show you, throughout this will be, ways to train smart, to get a bit of size, but to do it in the best possible way, to try and move that weight, and also to move that ball through the air as quick as you possibly can.
This exercise is a strength exercise called the pull-over. So really important for fast bowlers developing their lat strength. We'll convert this later to power, but this is what we do in the gym. Key points: keeping his back nice and flat on the bench, switching on his abdominals, feet up, and then pulling over. This section of the arm is bringing the weight up and over. They're really good for his drivers in the bowling action, his lats.
This exercise is called the weighted side bends, really specific for the fast bowler.
So feet about shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, so really good stable base. Really trying to work this side. So arm comes up and down in the bowling motion.
You can really see how this is getting that muscle involved in the bowling action. It's called the quadratus lumborum, or basically your side. Some physios call it the grunt muscle. So really important getting that speed up. In our strength phase, we do it nice and slowly. In our power phase, we lighten the weight off a little bit and do it really explosively. So it really helps with that bowling speed. But a couple of points, we really have to balance out the sides, so you've got to do it both sides. This is a little bit more uncoordinated. And we're going down to the side. Now the reason why we do this is in young fast bowlers, one of the indicators of stress fracture is having a greater sized quadratus lumborum on your dominant side than your other side. So we really want to balance that out to reduce the risk of injuries. This next exercise is called the lunge walks. Really good for a bowler's delivery stride, for the strength and stability in his hips, and also to transfer for running power in his run up and runs to the boundary. Zane's going to demonstrate. He's first going to pick the weights up correctly. So bending his knees, switching on his core, and now into a lunge walk. So the foot goes out, bends at 90 degrees, foot comes up and over. Zane's just going to hold there, going to make him work. So we don't go less than 90 degrees at this knee joint angle or at this knee joint angle. He just drops down, his knees slightly off the ground. You may continue. Some of the teaching points from the front is Zane's up nice and tall, straight back, face is nice and relaxed, and the foot comes up and over the knee that's on the ground. When he gets level with me, I'm going to get him to drop the weight, and you can see here his knee angle is pointing in the same direction as his foot, nice and straight, which is really good, means he's got really good glute stability, which is going to hold him in good stead to reduce the risk of injury and help when we get into that power activities. An exercise that really forms the foundation of any running weights training is the squat. Now, when we travelled to India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, we didn't always have the use of the best facilities, so we had to make do. And the other thing with Brett was he had a lot of back issues when he was a young fast bowler. He used to get very tight through this thoracic spine. So I didn't really want the compression of the bar in a normal squat on his back. So we came up with an alternative. So our alternative is a squat with dumbbells. It's halfway between a squat and a deadlift, still using the same driving muscles. So the quads and the glutes are really where he's getting his strength from. So his back's nice and straight. It bends at an angle, but it's straight from the hips. His knees don't come further forward than his feet. Chest up nice and tall, looking above. Now, I often get asked, what about the mirror? Why do people do weights in front of the mirror? Well, it's good to see this, but that's not what it's for. It's your videotape in the gym, so you get instant feedback. I think Zane's a little bit tired there, but we get instant feedback. But if you want to look at your biceps as well, hey, that's fine.
So for all these strength exercises, beginners, you should try 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions with a weight you can do comfortably. And advanced lifters, try 3 sets of 5 repetitions with a very heavy weight. But you must have perfect technique, try it 2 to 3 times a week, and definitely get a qualified professional to teach you.
Power training for cricketers is basically their staple diet. It's an explosive game that they've got to do over and over again. So we convert the strength that was developed in the gym into more specific exercises that mimic the bowling action to really overload the muscle to develop the power and explosiveness through running up into bowl and also the delivery stride. So it's exercises that we would do leading up to the season and throughout the season.
Jump squats are a great exercise for developing power in the running motion. And they're just an extension of your squats. You drop down and then explode up as high as you can. Med ball slams develops the power in the lats and abdominals to increase ball velocity in the bowling action. Pull back to full extension of the arms and then slam the ball into the ground as hard and as fast as possible, flexing at the waist and using the lats and abdominals to hammer the ball into the ground. Med ball pushes. This is a great exercise to develop speed and power off the mark and for the acceleration phase of running. Feet are shoulder width apart, drop down into a half squat, then immediately push the medicine ball as high and as far as possible. With the correct technique, you should end up absolutely airborne in a 45-degree angle and have a beautiful straight line of the body. And make sure you take off as soon as you land for 10 metres. Resisted running. This is a great way for developing specific power in the running technique. It will help you travel further per stride without any change in technique. This can be done with hill running, power sleds, tyre toes or running parachutes. Make sure the resistance isn't too heavy, no more than 10% of your body weight, and if running up a hill, that the hill's not too steep that it alters your technique. We used the parachute a lot with Brett, as it was far easier to carry around the world, and he really had to stabilise his technique with this if it was a windy day, which prepared him for days when he bowled with heavy crosswinds. This can take your running speed to a new level, and it did for Brett, particularly leading up to the 2003 World Cup. With all the power weighted activities in the gym, try 3 to 4 sets of 4 repetitions 2 to 3 times a week with a weight you can move comfortably. Must be an explosive movement with great technique. And with your resisted speed work, try 3 to 5 repetitions of 40 metres. And just do this once or twice a week. And remember, don't go too heavy with the resistance.
The most important aspect of fast bowlers training is bowling. They need to bowl. They need to bowl enough so they're conditioned to bowl in the game for the volume that they need to bowl. So for Brett, we needed him to be able to bowl 20, 25 overs in a day and maintain his pace. So we had to build his workload up to that level. And not only that, we had to do specific speed work for his bowling. And what I mean by that is we'd bowl 6 balls like we did in a match, have a rest, then come back and bowl 6 balls again in the net. So that was maximum speed bowling training. So it's only low volume. So try this at home, 4 to 5 overs of this at high intensity. It's a really good way to bring up your speed, much like a sprinter would do his speed work.
Always remember, with maximum speed bowling, we need a thorough warm-up. And take 6 to 8 weeks to build up the bowling volume, which is number of balls bowled, and bowling intensity, which is speed of bowling. And make sure you don't increase this intensity or volume by more than 10% per week. And for your bowling condition, which is your bowling volume, build up to what is required in a match. So for beginners, this will be up to an hour in the nets at a time, whereas advanced, you'll need to bowl 2 to 3 spells of 6 to 8 overs. And you'll need to do this at least twice per week. And if you feel any back pain whilst bowling, stop immediately and seek medical attention.
Aerobic training for cricketers is really important, particularly for fast bowlers, for their recovery between overs, between balls and between spells. Helps them recover far quicker with a really good aerobic base. And Brett used to love the soft sand running, which really helped his aerobic capacity, and also the aerobic intervals, which massively bumped up his aerobic fitness. Some bowlers can't handle that from all the jarring, so what we do is we get them off their legs for their aerobic conditioning. On the rower, McGrath used to do a lot of rowing. On the bike, Jason Gillespie did a lot of versiclimber. So we've got to work around these bowlers' problems.
With your aerobic intervals, make sure any running is done on grass, as that's a specific surface that cricket is played on, and it reduces the risk of injury and jarring of the ankles, knees and back. Bump up the intensity by adding in some hills, as these are high intensity efforts. And one way you can try that Brett did plenty of during his career was 1 kilometre running efforts with a 2-minute rest. This massively increases your aerobic condition very quickly, and is also great to help keep the body fat levels down. Brett could belt out up to 8 of these 1 kilometre reps, all well under 4 minutes, with a near maximal heart rate at every effort, having these 2-minute recoveries between sets. For cricketers that struggle with doing a lot of running, we can do their aerobic conditioning on either the bike, the rower or boxing. We can really work the energy system hard, the aerobic energy system, whilst not pounding away on their knees and ankles. So cross-training is a great way to replace the running if your body can't handle it. So try 4 to 8 reps of 4-minute efforts on the bike, rower or boxing. If you're running, do 4 to 8 reps of 1K efforts. These are all done at a high intensity, and when you're running, always on grass, and between them all take 2 minutes recovery between reps. And for more information on cricket fitness or high performance training, go to my website at jockathletic.com or follow me on Twitter at jockathletic.
And my top tips for juniors is fast bowling is hard work. If you don't like hard work, go and do something else. But it's extremely rewarding and the greatest part of cricket to watch. So rip in, win games for your team, look after your body, do all the things we've suggested here, and get the number of a good physio and strength and conditioner to make sure you do everything right.
Look, I guess the top tips or the things that I could pass on to the young fast bowlers that are listening in, most importantly about playing cricket and being a fast bowler, you know, you have to enjoy the game. You know, you have to enjoy hard work. It's going to hurt, you know. If you think that you'll play your career, you know, whether it be first grade or third or fourth grade, it doesn't matter what you end up achieving as long as you're happy. But it's going to hurt if you're trying to bowl fast. So to me, if you're got an action, and maybe get a coach, maybe get some video, or get someone to actually have a look at your actions so that you might be able to work on some stuff. If your body hurts whilst you're bowling, that's a fair indication that you're doing something wrong. So just try and keep things very simple. Try and keep your shoulders and your legs and your hips in one line. Don't twist and turn, counter-rotate and hyperextend, all those technical terms and fancy terms that you probably hear. Just keep it very simple. Enjoy the hard work, train hard, get someone that knows about conditioning work, that knows that has done some work at a higher level, you know, to look after you, and maybe just ask as many questions as you possibly can, because what I might pass on mightn't work for everybody, but it might be one little thing that you could pick out of it that can help your career. So enjoy it, but most importantly, you just got to have fun. You just got to go out there and know that it's probably the hardest job of you know, being a cricketer, but the most rewarding as well.